Hello, welcome back. Sage here. You're watching 𝐃𝐤𝐽 TV live from Sydney, and this is a Stocks in Action show. We will be looking through a few recent updates from the ASX listed companies, along with a quick glance at the developments across the equity and the commodity markets in today's show. And beginning with, let's take a look at the stocks under the spotlight today. Starting with the first big news, shares of the ASX listed fund manager Home Consortium were trading in the red after it provided an update in relation to 𝐊𝐴𝐼𝐴 portfolio acquisitions. And these acquisitions, as per the company, further enhance the scale and diversification of the seed portfolio for the proposed ASX listed and unlisted 𝐊𝐴𝐼𝐴 vehicles. The acquisitions will be funded from cash and undrawn debt commitments, and Home Consortium will be purchasing 8 private oncology assets with triple net leases from Genesis Care for 110.3 million Australian dollars. The company will be establishing joint ventures with operator 𝐊𝐴𝐼𝐴 Health Group to buy and develop a 5-hectare integrated private hospital anchored health precinct in Camden of Sydney's New South Wales. An initial land acquisition investment by Home Consortium of 29.2 million Australian dollars will be leased to 𝐊𝐼𝐴. The long-term potential to create a 500 Australian dollar plus million health and innovation precinct. Let's move on now to the next news. Trading up by more than 14%, Nearmap, the aerial imaging company, today announced its unaudited preliminary results for the financial year 21. The preliminary results exceed its most recently upgraded guidance in June 2021. It recorded a 26% growth in group annual contract value compared to June of 2020. An incremental ACV from its North America portfolio saw an increase of 39% on June 30th of 2020. As per the CEO and MD Rob Newman, the increase was due to grow in new and existing customers across the core industry verticals. And given the strong customer demand, Nearmap is planning to expand its coverage footprint in the United States in financial year 22. And the company also announced that a prototype of HyperCamera 3, its next-gen proprietary camera system, has been tested on a flight, the test representing a significant technological breakthrough for Nearmap. The commercial rollout of the HyperCamera 3 is on track for financial year 22. And the next big news covers Azure Minerals, a mineral exploration company. Shares of Azure were trading up post the company shared on Tuesday that exploration activities have started on Barton with an airborne magnetic survey in progress. And the company also informed that air core and RC drilling is planning to follow up historical drill holes that intersected the gold mineralisation on the property, and also to test for extensions of gold mineralised zones currently being drilled by other companies. The Barton Gold Project lies adjacent to the historical gold mining town of Kokini, located approximately 40 kilometres south of Leonora in the Eastern Goldfields region of Western Australia. And the single exploration licence contains 67 criticular blocks covering approximately 200 kilometres square of the Kokini. And history has it that since the 1890s, the Kokini Orient Well Ulysses district has produced more than 1.1 million ounces of gold from open pit and underground mining of high-grade quartz vein gold deposits. It currently hosts additional gold resources of more than 3 million ounces. Azure has commenced an airborne magnetic survey over the Barton project area, and preparation is underway for air core and RC drilling programs. And initially, Azure's drilling will follow up gold mineralisation intersected historically at Daisy Corner, which may represent the northern extensions of the recent Puzzle North discovery, where Genesis Minerals is currently undertaking a resource definition drilling program. And the company shared that it will also be testing for structurally controlled bedrock-hosted gold. And moving on to the next news that covers Phoenix Resources, the Western Australian-based miner and explorer. The share price of Phoenix Resources was trading flat after the company reported an outstanding quarter. The steady-state production rates and strong iron ore prices have backed the quarterly results, and 5 shipments of iron ore from the Iron Ridge project in WA were sold during the quarter, and the average price received was $185.20 per dry metric tonne, free on board. The price represented a premium of 8% on the IODEX 62% ferrous price. The excellent result is reflective of the quality of the Phoenix Resources iron-rich product, and the company also reported an operating cash flow of 45.1 million Australian dollars for the June quarter. A review of its tax position, price protection and capital management policies was also completed. The results will form the basis of the hedging and dividend policies currently being formulated by Phoenix Resources. The company also appointed Richard Nichols Maltman, as an independent non-executive director during the quarter. And that director's name is Richard Nichols Maltman. Last news to be discussed in this session covers automotive portals operator ICar Asia. Shares of ICar Asia were trading high after it announced receiving a conditional non-binding indicative proposal from 𝐃𝐈𝐴 Group for it to buy shares in ICar it does not already own. And 𝐃𝐈𝐴 offers ICar shareholders 55 cents Australian in cash per share, representing 83% premiums to its last close of 30 cents on 9th July. And 𝐃𝐈𝐴 intends to buy 89.5 million ICar shares under the bid. And now it's time for a short break, but please stay tuned as I'll be back with more trending updates from the Australian market.
Hi, this is Andy Liu broadcasting from 𝐊𝐚𝐥𝐤𝐧𝐞 Media Studio in Australia, and I'll be hosting the new 𝐊𝐿𝐼𝐴 Wellness Show. The half-hour show will cover topics from how wellness as a concept has become even more significant during COVID, to how becoming vegan may improve your health and much more. We are excited to showcase our live streaming show to our audience of millions overseas and in Australia. Tune in to 𝐊𝐿𝐼𝐴 TV and join me.
Good morning, viewers. Hope you're enjoying your morning so far. This is Sage and you are watching 𝐊𝐼𝐴 TV's The Stocks in Action show. And before wrapping up the show, let us quickly glimpse through the developments across the equity and commodity markets. Firstly, the ASX 200 performance. On Tuesday, the ASX 200 opened higher as a gauge of the global equity markets closed at a record high on Monday. And by 11:07 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, the ASX 200 was trading 0.53% up at 7,372.50. Nearmap is among the market's top performers, up 14.36%, while Incitec Pivot Limited is trading up by 6.17%. All 11 sectors are higher today, along with the S&P. ASX 200 Index Industrials is the best performing sector. And on that note, let us quickly glance through some global developments and its effect on the global market movements. On Monday, Wall Street's main indices closed at record highs on Monday, with the Nasdaq Composite and the S&P 500 hitting all-time highs, and as investors are keenly waiting for the start of the second quarter earnings season in the US to predict the next leg of the equity market. And on Wall Street, the Dow Jones ended the session 0.36% higher, while the S&P 500 gained 0.35%. The Nasdaq Composite added 0.21%. On Monday, the US Treasury yields eased a bit but held above 5-month lows ahead of a Treasury sale of $120 billion and a new coupon-bearing supply. And the benchmark 10-year note yields were last traded at 1.3712% on Monday. In the cryptocurrency market, Bitcoin's volatility has been squeezing day by day as the largest crypto is stuck in a tight range. And on Monday, Bitcoin was down by 3.9% after gaining 2.2% a day before. Other popular cryptos such as Ether was down 5.1% and Dogecoin was down 3.85%. Moving on now to the commodities. Gold prices had fallen on Monday on the back of a stronger US dollar, as market participants are cautiously waiting for the US inflation data, which could have an impact on the Fed's timeline for easing its bond buying. And the iron ore prices for the September futures contract on the Dalian Commodity Exchange also inched higher. On Monday, copper prices slid on concerns about the demand outlook in China, where economic recovery is appearing to be decelerating, while rising inventories reinforced negative sentiments. The benchmark copper on the London Metal Exchange was down 1%. And lastly, on the global developments, crude oil prices slipped on Monday over concerns of spreading a new variant of coronavirus and squeezing the global economic recovery. September delivery crude oil futures traded 0.03% up, whereas the August delivery WTI crude oil futures traded 0.16% up. Both the benchmarks have dropped around 1% during the last week, stalling out the rally that has brought both the benchmarks to the level not seen since October 2018. And Tokyo imposed COVID-related restrictions less than 2 weeks ahead of the Summer Olympic Games. According to the finance chiefs of the G20, large economies, the spread of the new variants of coronavirus and unequal access to the vaccine has threatened the global economic recovery and weighted on the oil demand outlook. And meanwhile, a fall in the US crude oil inventories to the lowest since February 2020 in the week ending 2nd July has partially limited the oil price losses. Thanks for joining us on that report. That's all for now. Please stay tuned with 𝐾𝐿KINE TV for more live market updates, and we will be back with more news on the markets, the economy and diverse themes and sectors. Sage signing off.